Hello, everyone. We are back for the day 11 of 30 days of food photography breakdown. The whole part of this series is to tell you how exactly you can do food photography in the simplest things possible, right? So, we have this picture in front of us today. I took it from Pinterest, and I specifically chose this picture just to demonstrate you that if you are doing freelancing or if you're planning to do it in the future, please add this kind of photos in your portfolio because brands actually salivate on it. Right, I'm not kidding. Because if you are working with a food product FMCG brand, talk about chips, talk about biscuits, talk about other things. Right, here we have actually a restaurant or a cafe's food, but normally if you are going into that FMCG route, e-commerce route, this kind of food photos are a must because it's showing the lifestyle of it, right? So in food photography, just to give you a brief intro, in food photography you do the restaurant photography as well as the food product FMCG product photography, right? So you go to the restaurants and shoot that kind of things, or you shoot in your studio itself for the food product FMCG brands, right? So always have this kind of photos in your portfolio if you are working with anything, right? So, but coming back to this particular food photo, it's shot for a cafe or a restaurant, right? So, from Pinterest, which I got, it was shot in Chicago, right, US, and it's captured by this person. I don't want to take credit for anything. Like, it's just a food photo that I saw on Pinterest and I wanted to break it down for you to help you understand how exactly it has been shot, right? If you're wondering, my name is Prathamesh and I'm a food photography coach. From the past 1 year, I have helped more than 1500 plus students to learn and improve their food photography to grow their business as well as their Instagram page, right? So without wasting time, let's get into it. Okay, perfect. So after opening this particular food photo, let's try to understand where is the lighting coming from, because lighting is everything in food photography, right? So the thing that I tell you guys every time to understand where is the lighting coming from is to isolate any part of the food photo, right? So any prop, any food ingredient, any subject, any human, whatever that be, just isolate it, right? So let me just draw a circle and try to show you guys and isolate this particular styrofoam box. Okay, so look at the box, it's a square, right? And look at the shadow of that, it has a sharp outline of that box. From this particular observation of having a sharp outline of that box, I can comfortably say that it is a harsh light that is hitting from the top left, top right portion of the frame, right? So if I have the light stand like this, I don't have my mouse, so I'm having it at, like, from a trackpad, so it's a little difficult for me to manage. But yeah, in any way, so this is your table or your ground, right? So let's keep it at a ground level only. So the light is hitting from this angle, right? So, and I am shooting from this angle, right? So this is my camera angle and this is my lighting angle. So C over here for the camera and L for the lighting. After understanding, after knowing that it's a harsh light coming from the top right with a nice angle and a height, which is the artificial, either it's a artificial light or it's a sunlight. And apart from the shadows, always look at the highlights as well, right? So if you look at the shiny spot that is casted on the top part of the burger, the patty, I can clearly see that it's a light, right? It might be an artificial light, and most probably it would be, because production studios and photographers are very particular and meticulous about their production. So they don't want to rely on the whims of sunlight, right? So you need to be in control of your situation, and you can do it by using strobes and artificial lights and flashes and video lights and those sort of artificial lights, right? So after breaking down the lighting, let's try to understand the vibe of this picture, right? So vibe, very Gen Z of me, right? So vibe, you need to understand, you as a freelancer, a production studio, are helping your brands clients for driving their revenue up, right? And an important marketing lesson over here is people don't buy with logic, people buy with emotions, right? So they always buy with emotions and then they justify with logic. So if you can see, as a food photographer, as a production studio, you need to create strong emotions in the viewers minds. And how do you do that? By showcasing a particular scene which evokes a memory in their minds, right? So tell me one thing, like before me answering this thing, pause this video and tell me what kind of emotion are you able to get after looking at this picture. Don't cheat, take a pause. Okay, perfect. Now I'll answer. Right. So if you guessed it right, it's a picnic scenario, right? So it brings nostalgia, it brings fun, it brings energy, right? It reminds you of the picnic or the getaway that you did with your friends 2 years ago near your city, right? So that this picture reminds me of that sort of memory in your mind, right? So you need to create some sort of memory, some sort of emotions with your food photography, and that's your primary role as a creative, right? So emotions, and then you create sales, and then you showcase that sales, yeah, that revenue, that return of investment as a primary factor, so that you can increase your rates as a production studio, as a freelancer, right? Perfect. Going coming back from that tangent, after understanding the lighting, after understanding that you have to create emotions, let's try to understand what are the elements in the frame and see. Okay, perfect. So we have the burger fries combo, we have some drinks, we have some soup, I guess tomato soup and breadcrumbs, and we have some roll or some burrito, something like that, right? So it's a mix of all of the lot of food ingredients, right? And one thing I forgot to tell you, it is not just one source of light that they have used for lighting up the scene. There would definitely be a reflector or another light source that is on the opposite side, on the shadow side, which is just filling up the shadows, right? So um, people do use reflectors or a very dim light on the other side. Yeah, perfect. So, coming back to the topic of props and ingredients and the arrangement of the things, it's very clear that the emotion that you want to convey from this photo is of nostalgia, of having fun with your friends, right? So, you need to show a human. You need to show a human, and of course, like wearing jeans, those sort of stuff gives you very picnicky vibes, right? And apart from that, what else can you see? There's food laid out in a proper manner, and you can visualize it. If you are having food with your friends, it would be laid out without even thinking about the composition, right? So the whole point of this composition is to have no composition, right? Sometimes you do need that sort of no composition rule in your food photography, but there needs to be it's going to be an ad, it's going to be a content piece, so there needs to be some sort of structure to this chaos, right? So if you can see, there's a nice flow going on over here, and there's my negative space in the middle, so my eyes can focus in the middle very well, right? And whenever you have humans, whenever you have hands, your eyes, your attention would directly go where the hands are pointing, right? So the hands are pointing in the center of the frame, so your eyes go in the center of the frame, which is the drink. And this drink, if you can see, because of the harsh light, it's creating a nice, what's it called, refraction, a nice colored refraction on the grass. And one more thing, if you want to recreate some sort of some recreate similar vibe in your home, in your studio, make sure that you get some artificial turf. It's very cheap. In Nagpur in India, it's very cheap, like I think 50 to 100 rupees per square feet, something like that, right? So you can have it. I'm sorry, it's not that cheap, but it's very multi-purpose, right? So if you just buy it once, you can use it again and again in different scenarios, not just as a surface, but you can use it as a backdrop and some other things as well, right? So it's very multi-purpose. Just have, at least I have a 5 by 5 artificial turf in my studio, right? So always have that. It's a very nice thing to add in your prop cabinet. Perfect. Yes. So what we did, let's just recap what we did, right? I explained you the importance of creating emotions and generating revenue for your brand and your clients, and showcasing that return of investment and the value that you're creating in the marketplace, and charging higher rates because of that. I also helped you to break down the lighting. I helped you to break down the visual aesthetics, which I termed, which is basically the look and feel of your food subject, right? And I explained a reflector or a second light source that is also hitting from the bottom of the frame, and which is like if you are shooting from this angle, it's on the other side, it's on the shadow side, right? So there you go. I hope it was definitely useful for you, the day 11 of 30 days of food photography breakdown. My whole point is to help you understand that food photography especially, is doable with your mobile phones as well. And if you relate to this idea, I have a special thing for you. I have something known as the 7 days food photography challenge. It's just for 497 rupees. In that, I teach you how do you shoot amazing food photos with just your mobile phone, right? So in 1 week, you will see the progress of 1 year. If you're trying to learn food photography for your business, for your freelancing, do check it out. It's the first link in the description. All right. See you tomorrow for the day 12.